It's been more than a year since an earthquake and tsunami rocked the coast of Japan and crippled the Fukushima-Daiichi plant. And in the months following that disaster, many people worked to figure out what went wrong at that nuclear power plant and how to make sure nuclear plants around the world are protected in the future. Joining us now is Dr. Michael Corradini. He is the co-chair of the American Nuclear Society's President Special Committee on Fukushima. Thank you for being here, number one. And later tonight, you're going to talk exactly about what your report found with Fukushima. Let's first talk about your background and then what you found in this report.
Well, I'm from the University of Wisconsin. I'm a nuclear engineering professor there. And we worked for about the last 9 to 10 months as volunteers for the Society, trying to basically explain to the public what occurred.
And what is your baseline finding?
The baseline finding, I think, in 10 words or less, is that nuclear power is reliable and safe, but it's not without risk. All right? And just as we saw, this event was an extreme event in Japan. It killed 20,000 people, either killed or missing, and no one was killed from the accident itself, but still it released radioactivity that has to require decontamination of the surrounding local area, and it was a big economic disaster for the whole event. So.
And we are seeing still reports coming out of there that just show basically an empty city. How long will it have to stay that way?
That's hard to tell from what we've all been reading. I think that's very difficult. I think the evacuation area will be re-inhabited, but I think they've kept a region of something of the order of a few hundred square kilometers, which is like 100 square miles, that's going to have to be decontaminated before people are allowed to come back in.
And that could be years, we're talking.
The decontamination has already started, and the hope is that within a year or two, most of it they can come back into. But there'll be areas that people will be out for about 10 years or more.
Let's talk about the impact on nuclear facilities that are closer to us. TVA runs 3 nuclear plants, including Watts Bar near Spring City. Will your report give them a lot of information about their risk?
Our report's main purpose was really to try to explain what occurred in the accident and then to identify safety issues that should be considered here. Most of what we've come to in terms of conclusions pretty much followed the Nuclear Regulatory Commission's report, which came out in July, in terms of the lessons learned for U.S. plants. But I think a lot of it has to do with natural disasters, checking over to make sure what the potential things that you have to be concerned about: fires, floods, seismic events, and making sure your systems are designed appropriately.
One of the things that came out today in the New Sentinel, a local paper of ours that I know you haven't read and you can't talk in detail about, but Frank Munger reporting that Y-12 nuclear weapons plant there remains seismically vulnerable and could be severely damaged or disabled by a major earthquake. Can you reassure the public about the safety of places like Y-12?
I guess my feeling is I haven't seen the report, so I'm kind of going a bit off the cuff, but the USGS, U.S. Geological Survey, has issued a report for all of central and eastern United States that the seismic sources are higher than we've thought of historically. So all civilian infrastructure is going to have to be rechecked over, whether it be apartments, industrial, so Y-12 would be no different. But my feeling is most of these facilities that are government-owned have pretty rigorous standards that they have to stand up to. So I guess, on balance, I'm not extremely concerned.
Dr. Michael Corradini, thank you very much for being here. We appreciate your time this afternoon. We're going to hand things over to